So what advice do you have?
The most important thing I would say would be to wear warm, dry clothing. Things that can predispose you to frostbite would be wet clothing and also constricting clothing. I would recommend wearing a hat because you lose the majority of your heat from your head and your neck. And to eat a balanced diet as heat is produced from your metabolism. So eating a good balanced diet and avoiding alcohol would be important.
All right, any other thing besides avoiding alcohol, any other items in our diet that we need to have when the weather is this cold that helps us?
Carbohydrates are important, so starches and breads are good sources of energy to produce heat. And other things I would say is that the people that are most highly at risk are the infants and neonates, as well as the elderly and the disabled and the homeless people. So if you have young children that you're going to be taking outside, make sure you bundle them up. For your grandparents and any elderly people, make sure they're in proper clothing for the weather with hats and gloves.
Dr. Snyder, do you treat many hypothermia cases?
Yes, I do. At the Washington Hospital Center, we treat many yearly, and the minor cases we can treat and discharge. The more severe cases like frost nip and frostbite, where people have extremity injuries, will need admitting, and the most severe case would be hypothermia, which we do see cases every year, and those are much more serious and can be catastrophic for a patient.
How does a person get to the point where they're suffering from hypothermia without knowing it?
Usually most patients we see are people that are inebriated or intoxicated who may have fallen asleep outside. Sometimes elderly people who are home alone, whose heat gets shut off, or if they aren't able to provide blankets or warm clothing. Those people are highest risk for hypothermia. Commonly in children would be cold water immersion. So children that fall into frozen over lakes and rivers, that when they fall through the ice, they can succumb to hypothermia.
All right, we hope that you don't have patients tomorrow suffering from that. We do have, thank you for being with us, Dr. Snyder. We do have a hypothermia hotline telephone number. We'd like to share that with our viewers. If you know someone or see someone on the streets, and the temperature is going to get below 32 tonight and tomorrow, would you please call this number? It's 1-800-535-7252. 1-800-535-7252. There'll be someone on the other end of that phone. They'll tell you exactly what to do, and you'll be able to get this person some much needed help. Sudden infant death syndrome, also known as SIDS, is still a mystery, but researchers think several factors increase the occurrence of sudden infant deaths. During the winter months, there is usually a spike in the number of SIDS cases, so instead of bundling up your baby, researchers say keeping him or her cool may keep him or her safe. 9 Health reporter Jennifer Ryan has details.
During cold winter months, Nicole Heller's instinct was to bundle up her 3-month-old at bedtime.
Good night.
But her doctor says this sleeper is all Harry needs for warmth because the risk of SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome, increases if the infant gets too hot.
Your instinct as a parent is to protect your child and to wrap it up and keep him warm and all that sort of thing, but that's actually the opposite of what you should do.
According to lab tests, pathologists say studies show overheating your baby interferes with the central nervous system's ability to breathe. A factor they say contributes to the 3,000 SIDS deaths each year in the United States.
It's important not to overheat your baby or subject your baby to heat stress. One of the ways you can do that is to keep your thermostat between 68 and 72 degrees in your home. You can also check your baby at the back of the neck, the top of the head, to make sure the baby doesn't feel too warm.
Unfortunately, I've known people whose children have died of SIDS, and you only can learn from what they didn't do, and you try to do the best you can.
In addition to not overbundling and wrapping your baby, doctors say remember the phrase back to bed. Always put babies to sleep on their backs. Stomach sleepers are 5 times more likely to die from SIDS.
Here we go.
You should keep your baby in a smoke-free environment. Remove stuffed toys, fluffy blankets, and down quilts. And make sure his mattress is firm. I'm Jennifer Ryan, 9 Health.
The cold winter months present an added risk because pathologists say babies are more susceptible to respiratory infections this time of the year, which often makes breathing much harder. You can find more information on this story on our website, WUSATV9.com. Click on Health.